Hello, and welcome back to another showcase of solo self-found gear. We're going to take a look today at my seventh character named Seventh, who is an Amazon built for multi-shot. We are now on season 10 of PD2, and season 10 brought us a recalibration of crossbow frames. So multi-shot is back in a big way. Crossbows are hot right now. Bariza being kind of the go-to option. Um, here I'll just show 9 frames is the max, which you can get to pretty easily with a fanaticism source and some IAS on gear. Obviously, a standard bow can get faster. I think it's 7 frames instead of 9 frames. But crossbows come with more damage and also native physical pierce, which is even more damage. Um, so let's take a look at the build. Um, Fairly straightforward, max multi-shot. Um, I like 1 point in guided arrow to use on the bosses. Um, that's it for bow skills. Nothing in javelin, and then the rest into your passives, which opens up some opportunities to kind of do it however you want to. You definitely want to have enough pierce to hit a total of 100. Where is it? Right here. Projectile pierce 100. So a combination of however many skill points you need plus the pierce that you have from the gear. Um, Bariza, of course, comes with 100% pierce, which makes that pretty easy. Um, but you'll see I had to invest some points because I am not using a Bariza. I went with that crafted bow. Um, I went with max Valkyries to get some extra support. With minions, I went with max critical strike, which critical strike is a separate calculation from deadly strike, but you multiply the two of them together to find your effective crit, and pretty easy to get that upwards of 85, 90% if you've got you got 66 here from critical strike, and then I've got 26 more from deadly strike. I should have done the math before this video, but it's around probably 80% or so effective crit. I didn't do the math. You can fact check that. And then remaining, or I ended up maxing penetrate to get the minus enemy defense, and attack rating boost, and then dumped extra points into evade for movement speed and chance to dodge. The Mercenary is an Act 1 Vigor Merc. Again, for run speed, we've got, oh, sorry, that's the Mercenary. We've got 73 faster run walk on self, plus the Vigor Aura makes for a very fast moving Amazon. And the Merc is wearing a Faith. This was one of the first rune words I made way back in like season 4 in my journey. I made it in a Grand Matron bow because I was still thinking LOD mindset at the time and thinking maybe there'll come a day when the Amazon will carry Faith on herself and you'll want the skills and that damage from the bow type. Has not happened yet. Probably if you were making one today, which maybe I should just make another one. I've got the runes for it. But if you're making one today, you probably would make this in a crossbow. Oh my gosh, what a new boo. I'm also seeing I do not currently have arrows on this mercenary. I should probably do that at some point too. Um, wow. Noobing out for you all here, but we've got a faith for the fanaticism. We've got a Templar's Might for the Might aura. We've got Lava Gout for the enchant proc, and then the rest of the gear is for survival and attack speed. The Nosferatu with a little extra strength helps get enough to wear the Templar. And then, yeah, PDR from the Hobnails, and then a Crown of Ages that has one of the jewels in here is requirements. The others are damage. Um, percent ED and flat damage. The gear on the Amazon, um, we're using War Travelers with extra MF, big flat damage boost, We're using a ring with more flat damage, 12 min, 11 max, attack rating, curse duration, dual res, really good find. Curse duration was the corruption. We're using Nosferatu for the attack speed, and with Pierce Slam to help use the burden of hitting that 100. We've got a legacy Wisp projector from back when Heart of the Wolverine was O skill, not a level 5 charges. That's slammed for extra magic bind. We're using Soul Drainers with enhanced damage slam. The bolts, room for improvement. The cold res slam not helpful for this build, but leech, damage, deadly strike, life, and 2 res still makes for a pretty good pair of bolts. The amulet is Saracen's. It's a legacy Saracen from when the ED roll base was better. So the slam itself is not that great with being vitality, but the amulet still is really good overall. And now to the kind of the cream of the crop items that really make the build soar. First is the giant skull. 3 sockets, has pierce on it, has ED max damage jewels in it, with a little bit of res as well. Tyrials, self-found Tyrials, slammed for max poison res, puzzled for 2 sockets, and put in matching ED damage jewels, 1 minimum, 1 maximum. And then the bow. This is her. This is my favorite bow. It's called Eagle Loom. When you got the filter off, you can see the actual name, Eagle Loom. Huge ED, huge IAS, amp, and attack rating. It's clean. It doesn't have distracting other mods on it. It's just really good. And I love it. This is a crafted using the Brilliant Craft recipe, which gives weapons 20 to 40 ED, a base 20 IAS, and then base attack rating. So this one, it got 20 IAS base. It got the 40 IAS mod for a total of 60 from the craft. And then it got that ED IAS slam on it to hit 80, is the highest that you, 80 IAS is the highest you can get from this craft type, which is the same amount that you get on a Breeza, it turns out. This obviously just does a whole lot more damage because Breeza ranges from 200 to 300 ED. This with before the ohms was in the 500s. With the ohms hit 662. So even after you account for the base or the max damage per level that Breeza has, this just really outperforms it. And then throw amp on top of that, it's an insane bow, and I really love it. Um, I think the main argument against using a brilliant craft for bows would be the other options like safety, blood, hit power, even bountiful have a base of 50 to 80 ED instead of 20 to 40. So there's potentially some percent ED being left on the table by using a brilliant over the other ones. And I think that's a fair point, but I think a counterpoint is you also needed to hit the like massive ED mods, both of the massive ED mods to be viable anyway. And once you get at this level, like the difference between 662 and if it had been one of the other rolls and got, up to 694, I don't know that that makes a notable difference. And it would come at the cost of being 20 IAS less, which would mean having to account for 20 IAS somewhere else on the gear. And maybe instead of a Saracen, this has to be a High Lord, or maybe instead of 37 ED on the gloves, you need ones that slam for IAS instead, or on the belt, you need IAS, and you have to account for the pierce somewhere else. So I think it's kind of all a wash. This is the one I've got. I'm also biased because this is the one I've got. So fair enough. Um, anyway, that's it. It does a lot of damage. Let's do a couple of maps. We'll start with the tier 1 sewers of Harrogath. Pretty straightforward, easy, super fast. We'll start a new game to watch the clock, and I'll see if I can move somewhat efficiently. I'm not a fast mapper myself. Um, just my play style is, I think, probably slow overall compared to the true Chads out there, but you'll see from the damage of this thing that it doesn't much matter. You can really do no wrong. And on the T1s, I'm not going to call it completely irrelevant, but the amp is not really necessary. Um, you're mostly just running and shooting and plowing right through everything. And with that 70 whatever faster run walk from the boots and the armor paired with the vigor on top of that, she moves pretty quickly. Basically shoot, run, keep up with your bolts, and just keep on cruising. Slow down only if you've got something worth picking up. Realizing I'll show the charms in between maps here. I forgot to look at the inventory. You're getting multiple rookie mistakes here with the gear showcase and the lack of arrows on the mercenary. You see, she obviously leeches just fine. I think the only source of mana leech is from the soul drainers. The life leech comes from both the soul drainers and the Nosferatu. No physical damage reduction on the build, but you don't really need it. She doesn't get hit a ton. I know some people go full. Here's the boss. Some people on a multi-shot Zon, they'll, especially if you're softcore, will run with less than max res and potentially even run with pummeling points into dexterity to increase the damage. That's not my style. You see, I've got a big enough life pool here. Yes, I play softcore, but I also don't like dying. I think that sometimes the hardcore bros talk about us like we we play softcore, therefore we must die all the time, and that isn't necessarily true. But I do like to run with vitality for the extra points and max res. So I'll show the charms when we get through this here. Don't really even care what map that is. Oh, Nell Striker. Nice. Low level item. Don't see those very often. Okay, I think we're coming up on the last stretch here. Okay. So there it is, a 5 minute, 26 second Sewers of Harrogath. With this. Oh, Nell Striker. Nice. We'll slam the Hellmouth in a little bit too. Okay, and now, sorry, we'll show the charms. We've got one with all res. I picked a cute one that also had the max damage mod on it, and then the rest are max damage. So 10 with life, 10 with life, 10 with life, 10 with life, 10 with faster hit recovery, 13, which means prefix and suffix. 14 is the theoretical max. Um, 8 on a large charm, which also means prefix and suffix. Another 8 large charm, then balancing out res with life, cold res, faster run walk, an all res life, an all res life, and then 2 plus 3 small charms with life, or 3 of them, sorry, 19, 17, and 17. We've got a torch, we've got experience Annie, max damage hit recovery here, and then a Geed. Um, so total is the, oh, I've done something wrong here. Or maybe it's with the skill. Yeah, when you get the plus skills from battle command, it's up to 32 faster hit recovery. So there she is. I'll do one more map. If you want to stick around for it and watch, please enjoy. It's a Throne of Insanity, 177 density with dolls on it. And you'll see even on tier 3, the amp will be more relevant, but she clears it like crazy. I've actually been doing sometimes tier 3s with an increased player count, P2 or P3, to get more experience. Anytime a Mendeln event spawns, I switch to players 8 for that and get a shrine, and she clears it all. She's super fast. The bow is wild. So we'll do one more map and then call it. Let's see what throne layout we got here. Okay, good. This is one of the larger ones. There's one of the 3 that is smaller than the others. See, she just shreds. So I don't know. Are crossbows overpowered? Are they due for a correction? Possibly. Um, I don't know if I feel like the build is where it belongs. Like a craft that's this rare should be good, in my opinion. I think if I'm no balance expert, but what I think I would prefer to see if there's an effort to rein in the crossbow multi if it was overpowered this season would be to do so by nerfing Bariza itself um, instead of the build. Because I do like the idea of of those really rare crafts being able to do amazing things. I don't love the idea of like a nightmare or exceptional level unique being so good that it's considered the go-to for for a build to the point that it. Or let me put it this way: I don't think that Bariza should outperform Windforce. Being a treasure class 87 unique should mean something. So nerf Bariza if you have to, or buff Windforce if you want to make multi-shot a little bit more fair and balanced without taking away from what people are capable of once they hit that amazing craft item. I think that was some of the problem over the couple of seasons where multi-shot was underperforming, is it felt like even with an amazing bow, it was just okay. And now it feels great. Maybe too great. But that's my 2 cents. I'm not a programmer. I'm not a game balance expert. So take it for what you will. It's just insane how powerful this build can be. And you get that knockback from Giant Skull as well. Like a lot of the Breeza versions, because they don't need the Pierce, um, they won't bother with Giant Skull. They'll instead go with a Veil to get that all res from Veil of Steel, and I was running that for a long time until I just this season found the Giant Skull finally and was able to recalibrate. I was previously in a different version of this build shortly after I crafted the bow. I was using Razor Tail to get more Pierce and still the Veil of Steel. But then when I found this, I was able to switch and getting the IAS needs from Nosferatu allowed me to swap the High Lords out. A little bit less Deadly Strike, but better stats overall with the EB on Saracen Amulet, and then the res from the Saracen Amulet made up for a big chunk of what was lost by switching helmets. So a little background of gearing there, but just a matter of piecing together everything you need. It's never about just one item. It's about all of them working together, and a really good crafted item is worth building the rest of your gear around, I think. Here's our boss. Let's see how quickly he goes down. Done. There he goes. Steel Shade. This might be the character of all of mine that I take the most pride in, because she's got, once in a decade quality craft, and then obviously Tyrael's Might is the rarest item in the game, save for the exclusive, boss drop only uniques. I have not found any of those items, but excluding those, I've completed an entire Grail now. But to find it, to slam it and have it survive, and then to get 2 sockets on it and be able to use it in a self-found setting is pretty cool. And there are of course multiple builds that can use Ethereals, but I think a multi-shot Amazon is the ideal. It benefits from everything, um, including fast run walk on an Amazon is just so strong. Meant to pick that up. I'm just kind of casually playing now. I don't feel like I'm racing through like I probably should be for a true showcase video, but even just kind of chilling with it, I'm pretty confident this map's going to come in under 10 minutes. There's a string of amps firing off there. So, I mean, improvements for this build, it would take a lot. Um, I could get a better crafted bow, theoretically. I could have potentially hit, obviously I wish I would have hit 4 sockets on the puzzle piece instead of 2, but I didn't. But the chances of the bow ever getting better, probably pretty minimal. Um, Slightly better base roll before hitting 3 sockets on a giant skull, or hitting 3 sockets on Ethereals are kind of the main upgrades. 8 minutes 25 seconds on the Throne of Insanity. Other improvements would be, I guess, to the charms in the inventory, finding some way to make up for this 15 res without needing the charm, or minor improvements to the jewels themselves, right? To get truly best in slot. You could do EDIAS instead of the ohms, lose a little bit of damage, but pick up um, the um, IS elsewhere. All right, now I'm just rambling. Anyway, thanks for hanging with her. I'm gonna get some arrows on this mercenary and get back to it. Thank you.